Prepare yourselves because an economic recession is looming. Now, of course, this has to do with Donald Trump's tariffs and just his general instability that he's bringing about upon the world by destroying our foreign relations, influencing the rest of the world to literally turn on the United States. Because, of course, the days of the U.S. being the only big kids on the block are over. That's done. World War II been over, you know what I'm saying? The rest of the world and caught up. But according to a Moody's Analytics chief economist, Mark Zandi, and we're about to pull this article up now, but he's pointing out how the labor is down, how consumer spending is flatlined, construction and manufacturing is shrinking, and the fact that rising inflation is going to make it difficult for the Fed to just swoop in and save the day real quick and real easy. And we know that Donald Trump is furious with Jerome Powell, the chair of the Fed, because he won't just arbitrarily lower interest rates to make Donald Trump look good for a couple of months. You know, he kept him straight. And we went over it the other day. He was like, Jerome Powell's too stupid, too big of a loser. He's a lightweight. He doesn't know what he's doing. But of course, you know, Donald Trump goes and he fires the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics for coming out with the truth about the numbers. So we're going to look at these numbers real quick here. You know, like I said, I already pointed out Mark Zandi and some of what he said, but this was his tweet on X. Well, I actually said X on Twitter. He said, quote, "The economy is on the precipice of recession. That's the clear takeaway from last week's economic data dump. Consumer spending is flatlined, construction and manufacturing are contracting, and employment is set to fall. And with inflation on the rise, it is tough for the Fed to come to the rescue." Now we got here. I got to turn on this damn ad blocker. Payrolls grew, and this was the information that caused Trump to fire the head of the one of the head people at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I forgot what her name was. But anyway, this is why right here. Payrolls grew by just 73,000, short of the 100,000 that was expected. Meanwhile, May's tally was revised down from 144,000 to just 19,000. June's total was slashed from 147,000 to just 14,000, meaning the average gain over the past 3 months is now only 35,000. And so, again, that's why Donald Trump is at war against the truth. I mean, that's nothing new. He's always at war against the truth. But, you know, now he's just going to make up the numbers as it goes into here, how, you know, he said it was rigged. You know, everything's rigged. But, you know, because Donald Trump, of course, can't take responsibility or accountability for anything whatsoever. He always thinks that the world is out to get him because everything is just so unfair for the man. You know, he's a genius. Everybody else is just stupid. That's why shit always goes wrong when he's involved in it. You know, everything collapses and falls apart when Donald Trump is involved because he's so brilliant and just so tactful and so resourceful and such a wise man, because, you know, that's how that works. So, again, meanwhile, construction and spending continue to decline in June amid a sharp drop in single-family homes, and the Institute of Supply and Management's Manufacturing Activity Index for July dipped, indicating the sector contracted at a quicker pace. So, again, you know, as this type of stuff takes place, as people stop spending money, that's going to directly impact, you know, the smaller shops, the small businesses. Those are the first ones to face issues, especially in those smaller towns, even in the bigger cities, you know. So job growth stalling, and the hiring freeze that's been going on has particularly been impacting recent graduates, as if, you know, Gen Z isn't facing enough. And this is another quote from Zandi. He says, "It's no mystery why the economy is struggling. Blame increasing U.S. tariffs and highly restrictive immigration policy. The tariffs are cutting increasingly deeply into the profits of American companies and the purchasing power of American households. Fewer immigrant workers means a smaller economy." And we know that immigrants more and more are doing things like not even showing up to work because there's a risk of them getting deported. They don't want to risk that. And that's why ICE, they just got the Department of Homeland Security got 170 billion, 30 billion of which went directly to ICE. Their new goal is to hire 10,000 agents Some of their the perks that they're given to get those numbers is offering up to $50,000 in a signing bonus, as well as student loan forgiveness and things along those lines. So all of this is greatly impacting the economy. It's impacting people's sense of safety. It's impacting people's sense of hope in the future. But it was always going to be like this at the end of the day when it comes to Donald Trump being the head of the country.
Hey now, thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it and really helps to support what we do here.